Hey everyone, Wolf Lord Rho here. Today we begin our Traitor Legion War. So I'll throw out a general spoiler warning to begin, just because we may be discussing events from across the Warhammer 40k lore. So you have been warned. But with that said, let's just jump straight in. Okay, so this will be the same kind of format as our Primarch face-off a few months back, where the Traitor Legions will go at it in a tournament-style face-off, with the final Legion standing being the winner. Now, before we get to the draw, let's go over the few rules. Rule number 1. The Legions are based on the 40k era, so we're not talking Horus Heresy here. Rule number 2. To make things a little more interesting, we're going to keep previous rounds in mind. So when a winner moves on, we'll consider the previous battles they've already had to come through. Now obviously this isn't an exact science, it's just a bit of fun, but I think it will make casting your vote a little more interesting. And lastly, rule number 3. As you guys will be the ones deciding the outcomes, in the event of a draw, I will cast the deciding vote, which surprisingly actually came into play during the Primarch tournament, which I certainly wasn't expecting, so we'll see what happens here. Okay, so let's take a look at how the draw came out. First up, the biggest of the lot, the Black Legion, and they were drawn against the Night Lords. A tough ask for the Midnight Clad, that is for sure, especially without a Primarch to tip the balance in their favour. But I certainly wouldn't write them out here, which is good, because we're talking about it today. Next up we have the Emperor's Children, taking on the Thousand Sons. 2 Primarch-led legions going to war. This will be an interesting one. Next we have the Sons of Alfarius, the Alpha Legion, and they were drawn against Perturabo and his Iron Warriors. Stealth tactics against sheer resolve. And lastly we had the Word Bearers taking on the Death Guard. 2 of the most intact, held together legions since the time of the Heresy, and still led by their Primarchs no less. This may just be my pick of the first round matchups. 2 full force legions going at it. Ah, but what of the World Eaters, I hear you cry? Well, as we have an odd number, the World Eaters will be waiting for the winner of our first matchup, meaning whoever triumphs between the Black Legion and the Night Lords goes on to face Angron and the World Eaters. The Wrath of Khorne will be waiting. Okay, so that is how the matchups have come out, with some interesting round 1 and future tie-ups waiting. But let's begin with the Black Legion taking on the Midnight Clad, the Night Lords. Okay, so the Black Legion, undoubtedly the big favourites as we begin. The one-time former Sons of Horus Legion, who with the death of Horus Lupercal ultimately faced the wrath of their Traitor Legion kin within the Eye of Terror, and they teetered on the edge of complete annihilation. But so it was that Abaddon himself returned to the fore, and with his own force of will drove the newly renamed Black Legion back to the top of the pecking order. Now, the biggest advantages the Black Legion have, in my opinion, are firstly Abaddon himself, and while I personally wouldn't put him down as the best strategic mind out there, mainly due to his temper and arrogance being a distinct weakness that can be exploited, as we have seen him defeated on several occasions, mainly due to plot armor, it does have to be said. But let's not get carried away here. This is the War Master of Chaos we're talking about, the man who orchestrated the fall of Cadia and has led 13 Black Crusades. There are few warriors in the galaxy who can stand before him. It is due to his determination alone that the Black Legion rose from the depths, and not only rose, but conquered. And number 2, the sheer size of the Black Legion. Abaddon's Legion is founded not on fealty to a Primarch, but on the bonds of brotherhood, on prosecuting the long war against the Imperium. And as such, it has recruited traitor marines from far and wide. The Black Legion numbers traitor Astartes from other legions within their fold, and renegades from younger chapters in equal number. All are welcome within the Black Legion, as long as they serve their War Master. And obviously with these numbers comes the arms as well. The resources the Black Legion can call upon can dwarf those of some other traitor legions. And one minor note I will add, though the Black Legion has sheer numbers on its side, I personally don't think that comes with unshakable loyalty. Undoubtedly, Abaddon's inner core of the Legion will be unshakably loyal to him. But there are so many within the Black Legion. I really don't think there is any way all within the colours of the Black are truly loyal to their War Master. And I do think that is something to keep in mind. Many of those within the Black Legion have already betrayed their own kin, whether to join Abaddon's cause or simply looking to increase their own power base. If they have betrayed their own kin once, they most certainly would not think twice about doing it again. And this brings us to the Night Lords. The Night Lords' fate has been vastly different than their Black Legion opponent. Their legion, to all intents and purposes, has broken down into completely separate warbands. And this really began to happen the moment they lost their Primarch Comrade Kurz. And though the sizes of these warbands varies from large to small, none could be said to truly rival Legion strength on their own. Thankfully, still in times of need, or for a cause important to all the sons of the Night Haunter, the Legion of old binds them enough to reform in joint action when so required. As we discussed previously on the channel during Night Lords Week. However, this isn't a unification under one commander, instead more of an alliance between separate forces, which sometimes can cause problems during conflict, which is worth keeping in mind. Is an alliance of separate commanders truly comparable to one unified command? And it would be remiss if we didn't mention the rumours of the new Prophet Decimus now uniting many of his former legion, as the gathered assault against the Eldari Craftworld Orthway can attest. But in speaking of Kurz, it's really the loss of this Primarch which deprives the Night Lords of having a commander to rival Abaddon. Even if they manage to get a return of the missing and rumoured dead Sevatar, I can't see the Night Lords lasting long in a straight up assault against Abaddon's forces. But then again, would they even try? The beauty of the Night Lords is I don't think they would even attempt it. They would rely on their speciality of ambushes and stealth attacks. The Night Lords only launch an attack when the odds are well and truly stacked in their favour, drawing the enemy into positions they seek to exploit. There is no way they would stand and fight against the fleets of the Black Legion unless they had the overwhelming superiority. Let's make no bones about it, going up against the Black Legion is a tough ask, especially without a Primarch to tip the balance in their favour. Now this is the Legion that tied up one of the greatest tacticians the galaxy has ever seen, in Lion L. Johnson, with his full Legion force no less, during the Framus Crusade. So we do have to give credit where credit is due. The Night Lords know how to tie up a superior force. And I definitely feel comfortable saying that Abaddon is certainly no lion when it comes to battlefield strategy. And the Prophet Decimus, like we discussed earlier, does give the Night Lords a huge advantage in being able to predict the future vastly more accurately than any sorcerer within the Black Legion's forces. So the Night Lords absolutely have plenty of tricks up their sleeves, and they could inflict devastating casualties in the right situation against Abaddon's forces. However, in the end, in my opinion, while the Night Lords would no doubt give Abaddon a very frustrating runaround, and some very costly losses, the sheer scale of Abaddon's forces, in my opinion, would give him the victory. For me, it's the absence of curs that costs the Night Lords the most here, much more so than their numbers. As good a commander as Abaddon may be, like I said, he does have his weaknesses. Weaknesses that a Primarch, especially one as cunning as Conrad Kurz, would no doubt exploit. If Kurz was still around, he would have gone straight for the throat and taken Abaddon out of the fight. Sure, Abaddon may be the War Master, and we have to give him credit for that. But I don't think anyone seriously sees Abaddon lasting more than a few seconds in a fight against the Night Haunter. But with no curs to take out Abaddon, the Despoiler just has too much for those in the Midnight Clad. But it's not my opinion that matters here, it's yours. Who do you think would be victorious? Do you see Abaddon and his Black Legion just overwhelming the enemy forces? Or do you think the Night Lords could come together enough to unite all of their separate warbands to give the Black Legion a run for their money? Would the prophecies of Decimus give them a distinct advantage? Make sure to use the link in the description to cast your vote, or head over to the Wolf Lord Instagram to vote on there. I will collate the results, and tomorrow we will see our winner as we move on to see the next battles in the Traitor War. Okay guys, as always, huge thank you to all my subscribers. Your support truly means a lot to me, it really does. And if you're new, please consider subscribing to help the channel grow. And if you enjoyed this particular vid, then why not drop a like on it too. But with that said, I am off. Make sure you vote, and I'll see you again tomorrow as the Traitor Legion War continues.